on all these channels. Welcome to Roadmap to Career Success Day 1. Let's see, are we live? How are we looking? If folks can see me and hear me, let me know. Okay, looks like we're good on Facebook. Welcome, welcome. We're going to get started in just a few minutes. Give folks a chance to join me and give me a chance to make sure I'm good on all of these channels. This is Big Sister's first multi-streaming event, so we're really doing some new things today. You're gonna get out of your comfort zone. I'm getting out of my comfort zone, although to be honest with you, it is a common experience for me. So welcome, welcome, welcome. So excited you're all here. If you're here, just go ahead and leave a comment. I will at some point take a good look at the comments and be able to respond to those. And we're live. And we have just a few minutes, so I don't want to start too early, and I'd love to hear from you. If you're here, say hi, tell me where you're tuning in from. Hello. Super excited you are all here. We're in for a big 5-day training this week. This is a completely free training. This is something you can invite friends and colleagues to. I know that it can seem, QIJ can seem like big words if we're talking about quitting your job, but you do not have to quit your job to be interested and involved in this training. This is designed for anyone who just kind of wants more out of your career, and also anyone who has a goal that feels vague and confusing and overwhelming. I'm going to help you clear that up this week. So so everyone's welcome. One thing I will say is it's really, really important, if you can, to block the time for this training. So that means putting phones away, putting distractions away, and really dedicate your attention to what I'm about to tell you. If you're watching the replay, hello, just comment replay wherever you're watching it. That's great too. And I encourage you to watch the replay as if you're here live, like literally as if you're sitting in an audience. Okay, and the reason for that is the more attention you pay to this one thing, the more you're actually going to get out of it. And I'm gonna be giving you some homework at the end that's going to help you even more, especially as you kind of digest the information that you take in today and get ready for tomorrow, because we're back at the same time tomorrow, and there's going to be even more good stuff. So let's see. Yeah, how are we doing? How's everyone doing today? So excited. Welcome, welcome. Hello. All right, I'm going to give folks just another minute or so to filter in. I know from my workshop leading and meditation teaching that when I say I'm going to give folks just a minute, that minute feels incredibly long. So thanks for sticking in there with me. All right, let's see. I think we are good to go. Okay, welcome everyone to day 1 of the Roadmap to Success training. My name is Ellie Bosmarova. I'm going to be leading this training for you this week. My goal for you for this week is for you to get $5,000 of value out of this training. And by that I mean, by actually implementing what I teach you, you are going to get results out of this training. My goal for that is for it to be like $5,000 of value for you that you actually recognize and see in your life. So maybe that's, and I'm gonna remember to breathe, maybe that's you finally ask for the raise and your boss gives it to you. Maybe you feel confident enough to apply for that job that you felt like it was out of your reach. Maybe you are finally going to pay off that credit card debt because you really want to focus on building your own business. something in here is going to create a spark for you to create that value. So that is my goal for you. And if you're here, chances are you are not fulfilled at work, or there's something in your life that doesn't feel quite right. Typically, the people I work with are people at a crossroads in their career, at a plateau in their career. I mostly work on career, but very closely tied to that is a sense of well-being and balance and feeling free from burnout. So we're going to intertwine both of those themes in this training this week, because that's what I do with my clients. And the training this week, and including today, is literally what I do with my coaching clients. So whether it's one-on-one or group, this is the stuff we do together. It's not, everything we do together, but if you implement what I teach you, you're going to have success. So if you're here, chances are you might be feeling burned out. You might be feeling underutilized at work. Maybe this morning you woke up dreading the day, feeling like, okay, it's the beginning of another week and I just have to get through it. Maybe you don't feel like you can be yourself at work. Maybe you feel like you're like 5 different people throughout the course of your day, and you've completely lost track of who you actually are and what you actually care about. And that this is all for you, if this is where you're at right now. And also, this is you're in the right place if you feel like you have things you want to do, but you don't know how to get there, or you feel overwhelmed and stressed and just don't know how to get from point A to point B. Maybe you have people in your life, maybe you know people who have jobs that they love and careers that they find really fulfilling, and you feel like you're circling the starting gate year after year after year. And I have a feeling that you would like to stop that and would like to change something in that so that you can actually feel successful, and so that you can also be a role model for the people in your life, right? Because if you have children, they're watching you. And if you have, people in your life who look up to you, they're going to see that you're feeling unfulfilled at work. And so the goal of this training is to help you change that script and actually approach life from a different place. So let's get started, shall we? And same for you, final note, if you've been applying for jobs for a while and feel like stuck and feel like you just keep getting nowhere, I'm going to teach you some things in here that'll help you with that as well. All right, so let me tell you a little bit about myself. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ellie Bosmarova. I'm an international board certified master life and success coach, career coach. I'm also a mindfulness expert and hypnotherapist. And all of this means I've done over 400 hours of training, learning how the mind works, learning how the mind engages in and creates self-defeating behaviors, and how the mind helps us create success-creating behaviors, basically, or goal-achieving behaviors. So if you struggle with procrastination, self-sabotage, you say you want to do something and then you don't do it, there's something in the recipe in your mind that's not working. Or you're getting some benefit from staying stuck. No judgment. If you're stuck, if you've been stuck for a while, you're getting a benefit from staying stuck. And I will show you how to get unstuck through the Big Sister method. I'm also the founder of Big Sister. It is a personal development company and wellness company that helps professionals get out of these stuck places in their lives and in their careers so that they can create more fulfillment and abundance in their lives. Now, here's the thing about me and my mission is I am really passionate about this because I grew up in an immigrant household. I am the oldest of 3. I was born in Bulgaria, where I happen to be right now, visiting family, and I saw my parents hustle and work. Didn't matter what the job was, right? Their educations didn't count in the US anyway. And so I watched them do whatever it took to make ends meet, put food on the table, you name it. And so I have to acknowledge the privilege I have of being able to work with the clients I work with, talk about finding your purpose and finding fulfillment, because there are so many people in this world for whom that is not even a question, right? They don't even get to ask themselves that question. It's my mission that I can help as many people as possible create fulfilling careers, doing what they in their hearts love to do. It doesn't mean you love every single thing about it. Let me tell you, like, putting together this live training, there's a lot of pieces that are not in my zone of genius. And that's cool too. I can always hire people and get support and not have to do everything myself, right? But I can say I love what I do, and I love that I get to carry this message, because I also know how painful it is to be stuck in a job, in a career, in an environment that is draining the life from you. That immigrant work ethic really led me to, trying to do what my parents wanted me to do, right? As an immigrant, I had two career options naturally. It's to be a doctor or a lawyer. And I really tried, for a year at Berkeley, I was pre-med. And I truly cannot tell you how I didn't fail any classes, because I should have. I should have failed classes because I was so just not in the right place. It didn't feel good in my body to be in those classes. I didn't feel like I was doing the thing I was supposed to be doing, but I thought, well, I had learned, to have a job and a career that makes money, you need to kind of maybe hate what you do. And actually, maybe it needs to be stressful. And maybe you don't get to do what you really want to do. Those are the lessons that I learned that led me into a lot of situations. And of course, I take responsibility for my role in choosing them and in creating this reality, right? Because we're all responsible for our own individual lives. No one, even me as a coach, I can't swoop in and save you. It's always going to be up to you to make those decisions and to choose to change your life, really. And so, but I had learned these things, and the messages I had kind of internalized were, if you want a creative career, too bad. That's for like 1 in a million. If you, want to be, an artist or a writer, if you want to be a singer or an actor, that's not going to happen. Those are hobbies, right? My background is in writing. I'm also a writer. And that's a hobby, right? That can't be a career. And I'm here to tell you, first of all, not true, false. But it took me years to get out of that. And I was in a number of jobs where I literally would cry at my desk and ask, why am I here? Why is this my life? I felt like I was supposed to be doing something with my life, right? I felt like I was supposed to be making a difference and actually using my talents. And instead, I felt, kind of unheard and underutilized and not really valued in jobs that I didn't really want to do anyway, which is kind of the big thing here. So I had a lot of old stories that I needed to let go of. I had a lot of the same beliefs that clients I work with have, which are, it's too late for me. I'm not skilled enough. I'm not qualified enough. I'm an imposter, which we'll talk about in our training tomorrow. And I needed to let go of just a lot, including I needed to let go of stories around career and money. I needed to let go of this idea that making money means you have to suffer for it, or you have to like work really hard and burn out and sacrifice yourself in order to provide for yourself and for the people you love. So that's my story. What my story is like right now is I have this amazing business where I get to help people find what they really want to do and actually go do it and actually get paid to do it. And I get to travel the world and do what I want to do. I've seen 2 world wonders in the last 3 months. I've been to 6 countries this year, 4 countries brand new to me. Guatemala, Peru, Fiji, Jordan, and now I'm in Bulgaria, getting to spend time with my grandmother and my family, and still show up here and connect with all of you and help you create lasting change in your life. So I started out where you are, and I can tell you there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And we're gonna just dive in. We're just gonna dive into the training right now. I'm so excited. So again, let me know if you're new, if you're coming in right now. Hello, so nice to have y'all here. Let me know where you're tuning in from, and let me know how you're doing. And we're gonna get started on the meat of the training. And again, expectations for this time together, whether you're watching live or on the replay, I really, really encourage you to just block everything else out. close your tabs, save your session, phone on airplane mode. My phone's on airplane mode. Get a notebook and really like tune in and pay attention so that you can get the most out of this. Otherwise, it's just like any other like podcast episode you forgot about that you listened to 3 days ago, right? Let this have a huge impact on you, because why not? And also because you're getting thousands of dollars of value for free. So you can also, fun brain thing you can do, pretend you actually paid to attend this. That is actually a helpful thing to do as well. Okay, so I have questions for you. The Big Sister method is a lot of looking into your heart, looking into what you really, really want. And so I have questions for you that are going to lead us into the 6 principles for success, which is what we're going to cover today. Okay? So first question I want you to ask, and I'm going to email these out to anyone who has joined the Facebook group. If you're not in the Facebook group, and I don't have your email address, like you haven't subscribed, then make sure you write these down or just message me and I can send them to you, have my team send them to you. The first question is, what brings you here? Why are you here? What do you want to get out of this week? And I'll sort of pause so that you can write these down. I would jot out some notes right now. You don't have to fully answer them. That'll be more of a homework thing. But what brings you here? What do you want to get out of this week? And how are you feeling in your life right now? How are you feeling in your life right now? Sometimes, we come into something like a career-focused training, a money, purpose-focused training, and, we might realize that by being stuck in one part of our lives, there's a ripple effect, and there are other parts of life that are kind of off too. So how are you feeling in your life in general right now? And how do you want to feel instead? Get really specific. Get really specific. This is part of what helped me kind of get out of that rut. One of the first steps. How do you want to feel instead? Maybe bring those feelings into your body. If you want to feel, grateful instead, can you maybe even think of a time when you felt super grateful? And just take a moment and just feel that. And that's not negating how you are currently feeling. We're going to hold space for both of those things. There's no wrong way to be here. There's no wrong way to feel. If you're here and you have no idea at all what you want to do instead of the job that you cannot stand, perfect. You're perfectly where you need to be. First of all, you're here, which is a huge win. So everyone who's watching this right now, if you're watching this right now, you are already taking action toward that new reality, toward that thing you actually want. And then what does success look like to you? I say and then, but there are more questions. So what does success look like to you? What does it mean to be successful? If we have this roadmap to success, what does success look like for you? When I was at that cubicle job, success looked like getting to focus on my writing, getting to travel, getting to feel like I was actually living my potential. Freedom and independence, huge for me. I love it. I love that I get to decide what my schedule is. I had a client recently start her own business. She gets to decide what her schedule is. Now, success to me looks like those things, and it also looks like, getting to help my grandma remodel her apartment. Getting to support people I love. Getting to support my own creativity by giving myself space. I recently got to spend 6 weeks living in a monastery because of this journey. It's incredible. And it's incredible how powerful each and every one of us is, how powerful the mind is. And we're going to talk a lot about the mind this week, the subconscious mind, the conscious mind, because there's just so much that we waste on self-doubt, on judgment, on comparison. There's so much energy that we waste, that we leak by just letting the mind run unsupervised, basically. And there's a way to be more intentional with our own minds, not only through mindfulness, not only through affirmations or self-talk, but looking at, what do I believe? Do I believe I get to have the success I want? Do I believe I'm capable of creating the success I want? Again, I can tell you, if you're here, you're doing something right. You're showing up for yourself. And by doing that, by making these little decisions, you're becoming a different version of you. You're becoming a different person. You're becoming the kind of person who makes these decisions. And we'll talk all about identity. It's so important. This is like way deeper than like behavior. This is way deeper than like, how many times should I edit my resume? This is, am I the kind of person who feels worthy enough to negotiate for higher pay? Who feels worthy enough to say no to an offer that just doesn't feel right? So what does success look like to you? Maybe it's being able to spend more time with your kids. Maybe it's knowing that you're walking the talk. Maybe success for you looks like being more flexible in your schedule. Just getting to make those little choices. Not being stuck in meetings that you don't want to be in. Maybe success looks like maxing out your retirement contribution this year. Maybe it looks like starting your own business. Maybe it looks like quitting the job and not feeling guilty about it. Maybe it looks like setting boundaries and not working till 10 o'clock at night. Really think about that. Really feel that. Because what we're talking about is something that you're currently in the process of creating. This isn't made up fantasy stuff. This is, we're actually starting the groundwork here to work with your mind to help you create this, what you're writing down. Because so many people focus on what they don't want instead of what they want. So many people. And I did that for a long time. When you complain about something, that's what you're doing. So I would just complain. And I've had clients too who start off on that note. And then by the time long before we finish working together, I notice how much they're just investing their energy focusing on what they want and not on what they don't want. So right now we're getting into that new way of thinking, which is, instead of focusing on the job you don't want, or how many jobs have rejected you, how many times you've gotten to the last round and not gotten the job. If you have your own business, the failings on the road to success in business, letting that go. Just for now, focusing here. What do you want to create? Getting excited about it. The goal and outcome creation part of any kind of creative process, the envisioning stage, is so exciting because you've got all these possibilities in front of you and you don't need to worry about the how. The mind, the ego, loves to think about the how, loves to tell you you don't know how to do something. Well, of course, you don't know how to do something. The version of you who's at the starting gate is not the same as the version of you who has invested more time, gotten new skills, gotten support. These are two different people. The version of you who's had an idea in your head for 5 years about a business you want to start, and the version of you who says, you know what? I'm going to tell my friend that I'm offering these services as part of my new business. Those are two different people. The version of you who's been thinking about quitting your job for 20 years, I've literally had clients who've been in careers they did not like for 20 years. And there's no judgment in that, by the way. If you're in a job you don't like, but you find reason to stay in it, totally fine. And if that's you, stick around because you're still going to get something out of this training. You're still going to learn how to regulate your nervous system, how to feel more calm, and maybe think about what else you might like to do. But you do not have to quit your job. You do not have to make that kind of decision here. Even in my coaching program for people who want to quit their jobs, you don't have to quit your job. That's always going to be up to you, and it's always going to be in a timing that feels right to you. And I like to do things in a way that are a little bit more thoughtful. And so in that program, which I'm so excited to talk about, but I'm not going to talk about it today, we actually do a financial planning piece to help you not feel like you're jumping off a cliff if you do decide to leave your full-time role. And again, you don't have to. But what you're doing today is taking an action and actually becoming a different person. Now, what does success look like to you? What does it mean? Okay, next question. Also, let's see, let me jump in, see if there are any questions. Nothing, good. Perfect. All right. What will you gain if you get your goal, if you get your outcome? What will you gain? So if you have more flexibility with your schedule, what will you gain from that? Will you actually have better health because you can make it to the doctor? You can go to workout classes, go on a walk, call your family. So what will you gain if you get your goal? And what will you lose if you get your goal? The subconscious mind hates to lose things. And so there is sometimes a tension when we set a goal, where actually if you succeed, your mind knows you'll lose something. You might lose something. And it might be something really silly. It might be something very real. So for example, if you actually achieve your goal of quitting your job, you might lose a feeling of certainty. You might not, but notice, is that a fear in your mind? Or maybe you'll lose the comfort of staying stuck. People staying stuck. If you take away one thing from this training, let it be this. Staying stuck is a decision. Staying stuck is a decision. Being stuck is a decision that we make. Not deciding is a decision. And the reason we do that is because there's a benefit. Because it's more comfortable to stay stuck in muck that's familiar to you. It's more comfortable to do that than it is to jump into the unknown. Now, I have never met a person who's incapable. Once they jump into the unknown, I've never met a person who didn't suddenly grow wings, really, who didn't get the resources, find the resources, make some big changes, grow some muscles. But there's huge fear. And part of what I'm going to show you this week is how to not listen to the stuff that your mind says. It's just trying to protect you, almost completely useless for helping you get to a level you've never been to before. So, on the other side, what will you gain by staying where you are? What will you gain by staying where you are? We have these big dreams, we have these goals, we have these things we want to achieve. But there's always the option. What will you gain by staying exactly where you are? Maybe it's a steady paycheck, which is really funny because, and it's not funny, it's tragic. So many people have gotten laid off in the last 3 years, believing in that steady paycheck, believing in that idea of certainty, believing in the concept of a salary. When you get hired, you have that salary in your head, right? You don't make that much money till a year from the day you got hired. That's when you hit your salary number. So many different ways the mind just latches on to these ideas of certainty. So many ways we get lulled into staying where we are, including when it feels terrible. So what will you gain by staying where you are? And what will you lose by staying where you are? And let's get really honest. What will you lose by staying where you are? Maybe you'll never know. Maybe you'll never know whether or not that business would have succeeded. Maybe you'll never get to spend that day with your children, with your family. Maybe you'll never know what you're made of. By staying where you are. Maybe you'll lose self-respect. Just letting what comes up come up. And again, you don't have to write out long answers for this. But let yourself answer the questions. And then this is our final couplet of questions. When did you decide you were stuck? When did you decide you were stuck? Maybe there was a certain day. Maybe you can't remember a specific day. Maybe you had a feeling in the back of your head that something was off 5-10 years ago. And again, there's absolutely no judgment. This is part of your journey. All the pain and suffering I went through, unlearning all those things, it's part of my journey. And it adds fuel to what I do now. And it adds confidence to what I do now. Because I know what it takes to get to the other side. And I've helped people get to the other side. I watch it every day with my clients. Just following the Big Sister method. When did you decide you were stuck where you are? And the final question, before we dive into the 6 principles for success. When will you be ready to change? When will you decide you're done? Enough is enough. And the question is not, how long can I tolerate this? The question is, when will I decide I'm done? When will I decide I don't have to do this anymore? I can try something new. Because we can tolerate things for a long time. How many people do you know? Maybe this is you. You stay in a situation because you should be grateful. Because it could be worse. When you get to have so much more than that in this life. And the fact is, it's unsustainable. Doing what you don't feel fulfilled doing what feels out of alignment for you, what doesn't use your skills or your talents or your passions, it's unsustainable for you, leading you to stress and burnout. It's unsustainable for your family because of the way that the energy that you don't have for the other things in your life. It's unsustainable for your community, for your city, and for the world. We're at a point in the world right now where we're not in a good spot. A lot of things are unsustainable, and I don't need to get into all that, but I can tell you that doing heart-centered work, doing work that you love, will benefit and impact the world. Even if you have just a job that is the opposite of saving the world, okay? But if you love it and you put your whole heart into it and you do your best, and you give it your full presence and attention, energetically, you're making a massive impact on the world. And probably every person you actually come in contact with, you are creating a positive change in their lives. Even if it's, and there's no job great or small. There's actually no comparison. There's no comparing them. There's no comparing across careers. We have so many ideas. Status, prestige. No, what does your heart want to do? And when are you going to let yourself do that? So, those are the questions. Those alone, if you really answer them honestly, will create a new trajectory for your life and your career. Those are the questions I have asked myself. Those are the questions I ask clients I work with. So now we're getting to, let me just check, see if there are any questions, comments. Hello and welcome. All right. Let's get into the 6 principles for success. Now, this is something you can take with you and use as a checklist anytime you have a goal that you're that you're working toward. Anytime you feel discouraged, you feel like I don't know what's going wrong, but I'm not getting the results I want. Excuse me. You can use this as a checklist and just really, again, get honest with yourself and ask yourself, am I doing each part of this 6 principle process? One of my teachers calls it it's a good diagnostic to see if there's a hiccup in your giddy up. So if there's a hiccup in your giddy up, you will find out right now. So here are the 6 principles for success. Principle number 1, always know your outcome. Always know your outcome. So earlier in those kind of reflection questions, that question, why are you here? What does success mean to you? What do you want to get out of this? Is getting you toward, maybe even getting you close enough to getting more clear on what is your outcome? What is the final product you want? How will you know that you have it? So always know your outcome. This is important on a couple of levels. One, on a really basic kind of brain wiring neuroscience level. In your brain, there is this, it's just a bundle of neurons actually, and it's called the reticular activating system, or the RAS, or the RAS. And this part of your brain is responsible for a couple of things, or more than a couple of things, but it's responsible for waking and sleeping. It's also responsible for helping you get the things that you need to survive. And so it's also known as your goal getter. And on a basic level, those things are food, shelter, water. If those needs are met, start to think about reproduction, community life, social life, things like that. And it is responsible for helping you get other things that you deem are important, which is why it's so important to focus on what you want and not on what you don't want. If you focus on what you don't want and place emphasis and importance on that in your mind, including by complaining, you are actually telling your mind, you're telling your brain, this is important and we should have more of this. Even if it's stressful, even if it's difficult to work through, that's what you're doing. And so by focusing on what you want, you're creating this bullseye in your mind, in your conscious and your subconscious mind, this goal that you are then kind of directing yourself toward. And focusing on what you want does not mean worrying that you will fail at what you want, okay? A lot of self-management tools we're going to be learning here. And that, maybe you already have and you're using them. Chances are, if you're here, you're pretty into personal development. You know the power of having a growth mindset. You know the importance of investing in yourself. Yeah. Yep. And so we're going to focus and always know the outcome. And it can be as specific as you want. It doesn't have to be, and the outcome is not a plan. So the plan comes, first you have the outcome, and then we have a plan. So first you have the thing you want. Ideally, you're emotionally invested in it. It moves you somehow. And then we create a plan. Then eventually we get to the how. But first we create, what is that thing that you want? Without this piece, without knowing your outcome, you're actually open to other people, other forces deciding what is important to you and deciding what outcome is important to you. So if you're in your work week and you're just surviving, just trying to make it to Friday, if you are coping late at night, watching, like scrolling or watching like YouTube or Netflix or whatever, which again, no judgment, I do those things too. Not as much anymore, but you know, we go through phases. Advertisers are deciding what you want and what's important to your brain. And so it's so important on so many levels to have an outcome, to know what it is. And if you don't know, like you don't have to know your life purpose or anything. This is about just practice for this week. What do you want to get out of this week? So know your outcome. That's the first principle for success. Principle number 2, take real action. Take real action. So earlier we talked about how there's 2 versions of you. One version of you has had this idea for many years and is waiting to feel ready and waiting to pull the trigger. And there's another version of you that has become willing to just step out on a limb and maybe talk to someone about starting your business. Or you decide, I'm ready to make my website. Or you want to write a book, and so you open up your word processor, your Microsoft Word or whatever, and you start typing. That is real action. That is real action. Even if it feels so crummy and small and whatever. Trust me, I know. Trust me, I know. Any huge endeavor, building Big Sister to what it is today, has been years of small actions. I started this business almost 3 years ago. Crazy. Years of small actions. And even longer than that, of learning, of working with small business owners, of working with people one-on-one. So take real action. And if you're feeling frustrated, if you're feeling overwhelmed, you can ask yourself, am I taking real action? And maybe you are. And maybe it's the next steps, the next principles that are going to help you find that change. Because I know some of you in this group I've talked to, and I know you've taken real action, and you continue to take real action. Also, if you get on a call with me, you're definitely someone who's taking real action. Because even that can feel like, oh. So principle 2, take real action. And try to have it be something that's not planning, not ideating, not strategizing. Those things are important. But are you implementing? Are you executing on those plans? Not waiting until you're ready, not waiting until you have another credential. Can you take some action? So that outcome that you have for this week, can you take real action? Can you do the homework after this or later tonight? Can you invite someone to be your accountability buddy as you go through this week? Principle number 3. This is a tough one. This is an important one. And it can hurt, but it's vital. And it is pay attention to results. These 6 principles I have found work for me. They've worked for clients I work with. They originate in my NLP training. Pay attention to results. So it matters, right? It matters if something is not successful. It doesn't mean it's the end. It doesn't mean you have failed. There's actually no such thing as failure. It does not exist. I say that to people and they're like, what? Of course there's such a thing as failure. And I'm like, not if you keep trying. Not if you keep making adjustments. which we're going to talk about next. So pay attention to results. Get honest with yourself. If something's not working, you've got to bring that to your awareness. And then you don't need to keep doing the same thing over and over, right? So pay attention to results. And principle number 4 for success: be willing to change. Be willing to change. The outcome can stay the same and can be just as exciting, or maybe the outcome changes too. But the approach is just like climbing a mountain. You want to get to the top, and there are, on any mountain in the world, there are multiple ways to get to the top of the mountain. Some of them are extremely dangerous. Some of them are the right way, maybe the most well-paved path, the clearest marked trail, which is great. Take that one. But there are multiple ways up. And so if you are noticing, wow, I'm not getting the results I want, maybe in your job search, not getting the results I want, what needs to change about my approach? Maybe it's something external. Maybe it's your resume. Maybe it's who you're talking to. Maybe it's something internal. Do you really believe you can do this job you're applying for? Do you really believe you get to have this job? You deserve it. You're worthy of it. Do you feel like an imposter? Do you feel uncomfortable online? And you have beliefs around that in this very online world. You know, one of my clients was an artist and wanted to get online, wanted to share her work online, and was so caught up on the technical aspect of it. You know, she had this idea in her head of what it would take, and it seemed too hard and it seemed too difficult and confusing and complicated, and we picked a different approach. We picked an approach that worked for her, that was easier, that was faster. She had her website up in like a week. Be willing to change. Principle number 5. And then we're almost done, I promise, for today. By the way, I would budget about an hour for each day. I don't like to say that up front because I don't always know, but I think I'm feeling it. I think we can do that. And again, you can always rejoin for the replay. I don't actually know how it's going to work on LinkedIn, but I know on Facebook we will have the replay available. So number 5, focus on excellence. What does that mean? Come on, focus on excellence? Of course we're focusing on excellence. Here are the 2 ways to focus on excellence. One is physiologically focus on excellence. So what is your body posture right now? Can you bring your shoulders back? Can you stick your chest out a little bit? Can you take a deep breath? Neurologically, we know that changing the body posture, changing the way we hold the body, changing the way we breathe actually changes how safe you feel in your body, changes how focused and alert you are. It even changes the level of testosterone in your body, right? If you do like the Wonder Woman pose, which I actually have a whole video on how we do that at the wrong time. We stack nervousness. We connect nervousness to the pose. You should do it when you feel totally powerful. Anyway. But focus on excellence, physiologically and also psychologically. What does that mean? It means if in the back of your head you're thinking, I'm a loser, I'm not worthy, I'm too young, I'm too old, I'm not qualified enough. Notice that, and give that some space. Bring your awareness to those thoughts and feelings, even if they're painful. Because the thing is, if they're painful, you're not conscious and you're not intentionally doing something with those, you'll continue to avoid them. You're continuing to create like an inner tension and resistance. Those feelings will remain there. That's why, if you're familiar with EFT tapping, people who are here and know about EFT tapping, I have a whole library of tapping videos on YouTube, because it's so important to feel what you're feeling so that you can release that energy, so that you're not stuck in it, so that you can focus on excellence. The other thing about focusing on excellence is you know, when you're doing something like changing careers, when you're doing something like, a big creative project, your chances are you're doing something that feels scary, that feels like maybe exciting. Maybe you're nervous, you're not exactly sure what you're going to do. Maybe you're stoked on it, but feel like you might be missing some pieces. And focusing on excellence helps you feel that it's also about the journey. It's also about who you're becoming in this process. It's not just about, oh, one day I'll have a 6-figure job, which is amazing. That's wonderful. But that one moment in the future, you don't actually have to sacrifice every single moment leading up to it, including right now. You can enjoy evolving and becoming this person you're becoming along the way. And if you're still with me and you're watching this, I have a feeling that you would like to do that and you care about that. The final principle for success. Let me just check. What's going on here? Hello. I think we're doing pretty good on this live streaming thing. This multi-streaming thing. I think we're doing all right. All right, cool. So the final principle for success is to always live with gratitude. Always live with gratitude. It's really easy, especially if you're spending 40 plus hours a week in an environment that's draining for you. It's really easy to live in fear, guilt, confusion, overwhelm, feeling like there's no way out, trying to convince yourself you're okay, trying to convince yourself this is good enough, you can survive. And it's really easy to forget about gratitude, even just for the little things, the things in your life that are working, okay? Maybe this job is draining, but it's letting you make time to watch this. Maybe you're learning what you don't want in a career. Maybe you're finding you're getting more courageous. You're getting more willing to say, you know what? To heck with this. I want to do something else. Maybe you're just grateful to have a roof over your head, food on the table, gas in the tank. Can you feel the gratitude of those things? Those are huge things. I don't need to tell you there are parts in the world where people don't have that, including in the United States, of course. So can we live with gratitude? Always can we live with gratitude. Also, energetically, for my people into, the quantum leaps, manifestation, universal laws. Living with gratitude lets the universe know that you realize you're fine. You are completely whole as you are. And that on a deep level, a level beyond the surface of your life, beyond the form that your life is currently taking, you are completely whole. You are completely sufficient. And when you're in that energy, more good comes to you. Because you're not clinging to things needing to be different and creating this polarity, creating this, I'll only be okay if this is different, and I'm so afraid things won't change. This principle 6 is probably the most important principle for these reasons. Because the way I lead my clients is with this calm, collected energy, 100% believing in their success. When I work with people, I'm not going to work with you if I don't believe that you can achieve what you want. That's not going to be good for me as a business owner, and that's not going to be good for you because you'll feel disappointed and be upset. I only work with people I truly and completely believe in. And then when we work together, the entire time, I'm holding them in that energy, and I'm holding that space for them as someone who 100% believes in them. And for a lot of people, and maybe for you, if you're watching this, you don't have someone in your life who you can be like, this is my crazy goal, and I'm so excited about it, and I think I'm gonna do it. Maybe you don't have someone else on the other side of the table saying, heck yeah, you can absolutely do that. So I'm really excited. I got to share this time with all of you. Thank you so much for joining me. Halt before you leave this live training or this replay. Your homework tonight is to answer those questions that I said earlier. Since this replay will be up, you'll be able to rewatch it. If you have any questions, you can message me on any of these platforms. And if you are feeling like this sounds like something you might need more of, you want to work more deeply with me, get on a call with me. Tomorrow, I'm going to introduce a very exciting coaching program. Now, that aside, if you just want to talk through some of the stuff that happened today and see if it might be a fit for us to work together, whether privately or in this group program, I'm going to include the link to book a call with me. You do not have to book a call if you might be interested in that program. But I'm going to put it as an option if you're someone who likes to kind of talk through things and decide things out loud. I would be happy to talk with you and help you get more clarity before we go into the rest of this week. And again, a reminder, we're going to talk about overcoming imposter syndrome tomorrow, day 2 of the Roadmap to Success training. Great job sticking with me today. If you're not already in the Facebook group and you want to connect with other people who are watching this, outside of this hour we have our training, join the Facebook group. I will include that link as well, and that's also where you're going to have access to these trainings after this week. So, welcome. See you tomorrow, same time, same place. I cannot wait. Again, if you want an accountability buddy, go get that accountability buddy and have them join you for this. And you're going to learn so much more by taking notes, doing the homework, and by actually learning and teaching each other. That's how you're going to get the most information. It's actually going to be retained in your mind. I don't have the statistics, but it's like 90% retention if you teach what you're learning. Anyway, so glad to be here with all of you. Again, I'm Ellie Bosmarova, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a good rest of your day, and I will again include that link if you want to hop on a call with me after this.